Think about this. There's always that one person at the party, the one who doesn't post on social media, doesn't try to impress anyone, barely says a word all night. Yet somehow, by the end of the evening, they know exactly who has a crush on whom, who's secretly jealous of their best friend, and which so-called solid relationship is about to fall apart. They didn't hack anyone's phone. They didn't threaten or interrogate anyone. People simply told them, voluntarily. How? Because the human mind has invisible doors, and most people never notice when theirs are being opened. Today, you'll learn the psychology behind why people reveal far more than they mean to, backed by real examples you'll never forget. Not to manipulate, to see what is truly happening beneath every conversation, and to recognize when someone is doing it to you. Imagine you ask a colleague, "How is the project really going?" They give a surface-level answer, and then you stay silent. Not awkwardly, patiently. 3 seconds. 5. 10. Their brain screams to fill the void. The silence becomes unbearable. Most people will start talking again, adding details they never planned to share. Former FBI hostage negotiator Chris Voss tells a story about a bank robbery. He asked the robber one question, then went completely silent for over 20 seconds. The man started rambling. He exposed his real motive, his desperation, and the fact that he had no real plan. Silence did not threaten him. It gave him enough rope to reveal everything. Silence, when used intentionally, creates a space where truth rushes in to escape the discomfort. The most powerful thing you can say is nothing at all. Harvard neuroscientists discovered something fascinating. Talking about ourselves triggers the same dopamine hit as food, money, or falling in love. It literally feels like a reward. Picture a first date. One person asks, "So what is your story?" Then they simply listen. They nod, smile, and never interrupt. An hour later, the other person shared their childhood dreams, their deepest fear of failure, and the exact reason their last relationship collapsed. They walk away thinking, "Wow, that was an amazing conversation." But they did 90% of the talking. The best conversationalists know this. They do not interrogate. They say, "What happened next? How did that feel? What made you choose that?" These are not questions. They are invitations. And most people cannot resist accepting them, because every answer lights up their own brain's pleasure center. People do not hand over their secrets because someone is clever. They hand them over because they feel safe. During World War II, British intelligence interrogated captured German officers without torture. Instead, they shared meals, played chess, and had genuine conversations about family. One officer, treated like a guest rather than a prisoner, eventually revealed the entire location of a hidden U-boat base. Not because he was broken, because he had been made to feel human. When someone believes they will not be mocked, interrupted, or judged, their psychological armor begins to dissolve on its own. Trust is not built with perfect words. It is built with consistency, patience, unspoken respect. Without that foundation, every question fails, every silence becomes suspicious. But with it, the conversation becomes a confession. Not every secret is whispered. Sometimes it hides in the spaces between sentences. A woman asks her husband, "Did you see Clara at the office party?" He freezes for half a second. His tone shifts almost imperceptibly. Then he answers, "Yeah, she was fine. Why do you ask?" He did not say anything incriminating. But the sudden defensiveness, the pause, the fact that he never mentions that name again, all of it is a confession without words. Psychologists and profilers pay attention to what is not said, the topics someone keeps dodging, the emotions that surface for no apparent reason. Silences have patterns. Gaps have meaning. And in those dark corners of a conversation, the truth is often waiting, fully visible to anyone who knows how to look. Beneath all the masks, there is one thing almost everyone desperately wants: to be understood. In 1975, journalist Oriana Fallaci interviewed the Shah of Iran. He was guarded, trained to deflect. But she spent the first 20 minutes simply showing that she understood the weight of his power, his loneliness, his sacrifices. Then she leaned in and said, "They don't love you, do they?" The Shah, one of the most heavily protected men in the world, broke down. He began speaking about his deepest paranoia, not because he was tricked, but because someone finally saw the man behind the throne. When someone finally feels that, when they believe another person actually sees them, the stories they have kept locked away for years start spilling out. They were not manipulated. They were finally heard. The most profound influence does not come from control. It comes from connection. Now, the darker truth. Everything you just learned can be weaponized. Con artists mirror empathy they do not feel. They create artificial safety. They use silence, flattery, and fake vulnerability to extract secrets, and then exploit them mercilessly. That is why this knowledge matters. Not so you can become the one pulling strings in the shadows, but so you can recognize the hands that are already reaching toward yours. Knowledge is a shield before it is ever a sword. The greatest observers are not loud. They are the ones who make others feel comfortable enough to tell the truth. Silence, curiosity, trust, attention. These are not dark magic. They are the hidden architecture of the human mind, and history is full of people who have used them, for good and for evil. But here is what nobody tells you. Right now, as you are watching this, someone you know, maybe a friend, maybe someone closer, is unconsciously reading your silences, your pauses, your eyes. Not because they studied psychology, because the human brain does this automatically. The only question is, are you aware of what you are revealing? You just learned 5 principles that expose the invisible script behind every conversation. Use them to understand. Use them to protect yourself. But be careful, because once you start seeing these patterns, you can never unsee them. And the next time someone stays a little too quiet around you, you will wonder if they just learned these rules too.